those are the two main things that I'm dealing with right now, are my diabetes and my stomach conditions. Hello everybody, Leia here with a brand new video. Now I know you saw the title of today's video, and so you're probably aware this is going to be my first medical update that I've done in a while. I haven't done one since I think February or March, before I took my very lengthy hiatus. If I remember correctly, I'm going to try to link the I gave up video in the card or in the down bar below. We'll see if I actually remember. Leia, put a note for yourself, please. So I was debating back and forth of how to do this video, because if you don't know, I have a Patreon now, and one of my $10 perks for my patrons is that they'll get a monthly health update. And so I was trying to figure out, how do I have a Patreon health update, and how do I also have a YouTube health update? And I think that the answer to that is really simple. My YouTube health update is going to be shorter. It's going to focus on a couple of issues, kind of the issues that were the main issues. That was my alarm. So basically the YouTube video is going to focus on what were the main issues of the period, and then when I get $10 a month patrons, I will be kind of making it more general, going through all of my systems that I have issues with, going through all of my diagnoses, and talking about how the month went for each one. So these videos are going to be shorter, probably 5 to 7 minutes, although I do talk a lot. I did have that one day where I thought I was going to have a 2-day vlog, and I ended up with 30 minutes of footage between the 2 days, so you never know, you never know. The first thing that I want to talk about is my diabetes. So I've been a little bit stressed out with my diabetes just because I lost my mailbox key, and I have no clue where it is. I'm going to have to get a new one from the post office, which kind of stresses me out, mostly because I get my test strips through the mail. So I have 1 bottle of test strips. That means I have 50. I have about 2 weeks worth. So I went back from checking my blood sugar 7 times a day, which is before and after. Well, I guess at one point, my golden period where I did the best with my diabetes, I was checking 7 times a day. I was checking before and after meals, and then before I went to bed. However, lately I eat 5 times a day now. I'm going to talk about that in the stomach section. So I've been checking kind of 3 times a day, when I do my insulin in the morning. Well, I guess when I do my insulin in the morning, and then sometime during the day. Very soon I'm going to be switching to a different type of insulin. Currently I take long-acting insulin, so it's 48-hour insulin. It works over 48 to 72 hours. It takes at least 2 to 3 hours to start working. However, in the next couple of days, I'm going to be switching to Novolin, the 70-30 mix of Novolin, which it means that 30% of it is short-acting insulin, and then 70% of it is intermediate-acting insulin, and I'll take that twice a day, once with breakfast and once with dinner, which means I'm going to be trying to make my breakfast and dinner meals larger, I think. I don't know. I'm hopefully going to be going to talk to diabetes education at some point. So that's kind of where I'm at with my diabetes. Oh, I guess I didn't even talk about, I did have a high. I think my highest high was in the 200s, which is still really good. And my lowest low, I think, was 75. For the most part, I've been really good about catching myself when I'm in my 80s and making sure that I eat something when I'm in the 80s so that I don't get down into the 70s. And likewise, I've been trying to pay more attention to what I eat so that I don't go up into the 200s. I have been able to sustain myself on my metformin, even though it's expensive, and I will actually be switching pharmacies to a pharmacy that has my metformin on the $4 prescription list, so that I won't have to worry about making the decision between insulin and mental health medicine, because that's a very difficult decision. Well, actually, frankly, it's not a difficult decision. If it's between taking my mental health medicine and taking my diabetes medicine, I'm going to take my diabetes medicine. That's a difficult thing for me, but it's just whenever you spend hundreds of dollars a month on medication, it can be tricky. Like, that's just kind of, unfortunately, a part of my life. The next area that I want to go over is my stomach. So, if you don't know, I have bipolar disorder, and bipolar disorder can blunt signals. It blunts my pain signals, and apparently it also blunts my nausea signals. What happens then is that I can't really tell whenever I'm sick, whenever I'm doing things that aren't good for my stomach. And so what I found is that now that I've been back on my medicine for mental health, I've been nauseous almost every day. I've definitely felt full every day. I've definitely had a little bit of struggle at least every single day since I've been back on my mental health medicine. And just know that that's normal. That is life with having bipolar disorder and having something else, is that when you're back on your bipolar medicine, you're gonna kind of feel shitty. That's, for me, nothing to do with why I didn't take it. It was entirely due to not having the money to pay for it, because I was paying for all of my medicines out of pocket without the aid of insurance, because my insurance company was trying to force me to get medicine through the mail pharmacy, which I don't like. So I was just instead paying $20 to $30 per prescription and ordering them from Walgreens, which I'm not going to do anymore. Well, I am still probably going to be getting them through Walgreens, but thankfully my insulin is probably going to be around the same price or a little bit more expensive going through Walmart, and likewise my metformin is going to be much cheaper by going through Walmart, because I'm going to be using a specific Walmart brand of insulin, the Novolin, and I'm going to be using the Walmart pharmacy for metformin, which is $4. I realize I already went over this, but that is all to say that, yes, my stomach has been bad. I think it's a combination of being back on the bipolar medicine, being back on metformin, basically, doing what I'm supposed to do. I do have a stomach condition, so I should be feeling the impacts of the stomach condition. And I am. And it sucks. It's really tricky. It's really tenuous. But that's what it is. Lately, what I've been doing is I have been drinking Ensure Plus. I think I've talked about these before. These are not actual Ensures. These are the Walgreens brand, but they're very helpful for me. At one point, I was like, oh, I'm going to do 3 a day, but then I realized, no, I didn't feel satisfied that way, so I do 2 a day. I do 1 for breakfast, and then I do 1 for like a after lunch snack. I've been eating 5 times a day, so I eat breakfast, a morning snack, lunch, an afternoon snack, and then dinner. I go to bed around 8 o'clock, so there's really wouldn't be a time for me to eat an evening snack anyway, and the way that I'm doing this, I'm getting 1,800 calories, which is a good amount. Technically, it's less than I need. Technically, it's a lot less than I need. But I do end up eating more because I'm not completely sure on my diet of everything I'm supposed to be doing. I am going to hopefully be meeting with the diabetes educator to try to figure out, okay, here's what I need to have. It's very difficult because my insurance won't pay for a session with a nutritionist. Hopefully I'm going to be getting a severance package, and I can use some of that severance money to meet with the nutritionist, is my hope at the very least. And hopefully the nutritionist can actually give me some pointers and give me meal ideas, because once I have meal ideas, I think that it'll be a lot easier for me to sustain eating, and to sustain eating foods that aren't going to make me sick. Do I think that my sickness is partially because I'm eating foods that could make me sick? A little bit, but I don't think that it's entirely caused by eating foods that could make me sick. I do think that it's, you know, first of all, the idea of eating foods that can make you sick, like for me, like hamburger makes me sick, chicken makes me sick, meat makes me sick, anything with tomatoes makes me sick, anything spicy makes me sick. Like, there are a lot of those foods. Oh, anything fried makes me sick. There are so many of those foods, and sometimes it's difficult because I'm having to make a choice between something that's going to upset my diabetes, something that's going to upset the GERD slash gastritis, and something that could slow down my stomach or, you know, upset the not gastroparesis. So if you didn't watch the vlog where I did my gastric emptying study, basically what it showed is that I don't have gastroparesis per se, but I do have slow digestion. So for example, at a spot where you're supposed to be 90% digested, I was 80%. And when I say supposed to be 90, I mean 90 is the upper limit. If you are at 90%, you have gastroparesis, and I was at 80. Likewise, the next spot was if you had 60%, then you had, if you were at 60%, then you had gastroparesis, and I had 55%. Some of my studies was confusing for me because it said that I was at 50% empty when there wasn't a picture at that time. The pictures were every 20 minutes, and there were 2 findings 8 minutes apart, and I know there were not any spot where there were pictures only 8 minutes apart. It was every 20 minutes, so it's a bit confusing, but you know, I wasn't taking my metformin, and I was eating a food that was generally easy on my stomach. Fat moves through my digestive system faster than other things, just because I don't have a gallbladder. So I will eventually make a video explaining life after gallbladder removal surgery. So yeah, trying to figure out food that doesn't upset any of those conditions is just really difficult. Yogurt's okay, these are okay. I think I'm going to try to incorporate pretzel sticks back into my diet because they were okay. If I have celiac, I'm going to cry. But hopefully at the end of the month I should be getting more answers when they repeat the upper endoscopy. I had an upper endoscopy last year in November, and if you're wondering why I'm having it only 10 months later, it's because this upper endoscopy is being done by a GI instead of a surgeon, and they told me that a GI is better at knowing what they're looking for. It's possible that they will come away with some type of inflammatory condition because there's been inflammation found everywhere. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I think that was a pretty good update. Those are the 2 main things that I'm dealing with right now, are my diabetes and my stomach conditions. I don't have any $10 patrons, so there's not going to be a longer everything video, but again, if you do want to see that longer everything video, go ahead and sign up on my Patreon. Link is in the description below, and I will make an everything video next month, and I will make sure that it's up on the first of the month. So, alright, bye guys.